relying on some other external process for notes, make them your own. So I also used notes, I also used material of other toppers, of other markets available, but reread it so many times that you make it your own and keep making additions to it. I think I personally would credit a lot to note making. And note making, I think sometimes what we do is ki acha toppers ke notes are available in the market, let's get that and we'll be sorted. But I think the process of note making itself is very important. It's not just about the final product, but making that effort yourself. And since you're familiar with it, it'll be easier for you to revise that as well. Even if you're relying on some other external process for notes, make them your own. So I also used notes, I also used material of other toppers, of other markets available, but reread it so many times that you make it your own and keep making additions to it. So at any level, any sort of material would be stagnant, so you have to keep on adding to it. So note making, I personally think, is important, but note making should not be seen to be a regurgitation of whatever you're reading. So it shouldn't be, acha, I'm reading this NCERT, I'll copy down most of it. So it needs to at least come down. There needs to be a point of note making. The point of note making is that you bring it down so it's easy for revision and it's easy for you to remember. So anyone else doesn't need to necessarily understand the notes you're making, but at least you need to understand it. And it doesn't need to be exactly you're using every single article, every single pronoun that was used in the book. Okay? And like, it's important also to understand which books you need to make notes of. Say a Lakshmikant, I personally think doesn't need note making, but because it's already a book meant for the UPSC preparation, right? So that is something you need to understand. Then, most important, importance of prelims test and mains exams, test writing. So for prelims, I've already told you, the nature of the exam is changing. So not just the test series. Test series, I think, is very, very important in terms of getting a hang of whether you've covered the entire syllabus and you've done the basic books and you know how many questions you want to attempt to get the maximum optimal score, but also previous year question papers. Okay, so there needs to be a balance between both in terms of prelims test. And I would say the same for mains test answer writing. For previous year question papers, what I used to do was, we used to again have a certain group, we used to write 3-4 questions depending on the subject we've chosen of previous year question papers. Later we used to make a sort of model test answer in terms of, अच्छा ठीक है ये introduction अच्छा था, इसमें ये डाल सकते हैं, example ये डाल सकते हैं. तो ये हम, like this we used to do for previous year papers because you don't have a ready template available in terms of previous year papers. For a test series, and I took Vajiram's test series as well, I think it was a very, like the questions were very well thought out and the checking was also good. So pick any test series that you're sticking to and work on the feedback that is given you, that is provided to you. Even if you're getting good marks in a certain question, don't be complacent. Think how you can make it better. Think how, acha, this one example you came across in some newspaper or is in your notes, go back to your notes again. If you've written an answer, after you've written the answer, when the checking thing is there, go back, acha, ethics mein this was one example, which could have made this answer better, and write it down. So answer writing, I think, is very, very important, which I personally practice, which maybe helped me to get a good score in the final mains answers.